morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Ibrahim, and we'll be we'll be working on a BPMN process, something that we've been learning in a business analyst class. Before I actually present this, I want to ask you, how many of you enjoy banking online?
I do.
And I'm sure that everybody enjoys it. Do you remember the days when we didn't even have the ATMs, or on the first of the month, people would actually walk in with the saving passbook, and they would get it stamped and deposit into their saving account. I'm not sure if you remember that, but those were the days where people used to walk in monthly to get their passbook stamped, because nothing was digitalized. And then came the ATM machine. That was the biggest blessing. It was like, oh, wow, we can take the money out of the ATM machine and we don't actually have to go inside the bank. Obviously, we all know how it has evolved over the years. And just want to let you know that, did you know that 90% of the consumers prefer online banking services regardless of age, income, place, or type of bank? And according to the financialbrand.com, the three biggest challenges the bank suffers as of today. And number one is a digital banking transformation. And after that comes a customer experience. So, and obviously with the coronavirus crisis, radically magnified the importance of digital banking and customer experience in the banking sector, with a heavy emphasis on digital channels. Obviously, this is understandable given the almost immediate shift to digital channels by the pandemic. And this is not just the banking. If you notice, even whether it be a groceries, or surgeries, medical field, pharmacy field, you name it. I think we have all learned during this pandemic that going digital is very, very important. We would not have been able to even work from home, being able to take our classes from home. So I think the world is looking at a different angle. So in today's agenda, we're going to talk about identify the key process, describe the process, current challenges, the key stakeholders' expectations from this process, compare the benchmarking, and then the three options that we came up with, comparing those options, and then to be process, benefits of new process, and problem determination problems. So into the banking challenge that we have, there are many obstacles are the reasons. Obviously, everybody likes to have a digitalized banking or digitalized transformation. It is very costly. And there are reasons why not all banks, or even the, very top brand banks are not 100% digitalized. Currently, only 20 to 40% of the processes are digitalized, and 90% of the banks invest less than 0.5% of their total spending in digital, because it's very expensive, obviously. So to describe the process, I really don't have any words. I want you all to look at this picture and tell me, what do you see? Obviously, there's a beautiful view. But apart from that, look at the picture. Look at the person walking down the bridge. So if your goal is to cross that, what would you do? How many other ways can you get there? You can fly there. You can maybe parasail. You can build a bridge and go according to what you see in the picture. There are many different ways you can get there. Now, how you get there, obviously, there's got to be a process. There's got to be a fundamentals. There's got to be investment put in there. Each process is not always going to be the best one, because depending on how much budget you have is what you're going to invest. Of course, flying is faster. But if that's very expensive and it's not something it's in your budget, what we see here is perfectly fine as long as you are working toward getting to the better process. You only do the baby steps, one step at a time. So we have a problem determination process here. So with the digital banking transformation in a cause and effect diagram that Fatima has made here, we have an advertisement. So we can, by providing an education to the customer, free education on how to use that. COVID-19, they have a lengthy projects, lack of jobs, high priorities, robotic process automation software. There's also another platform called Blue Sea, which is used mainly in a European bank. I don't think it has hit American industry yet. And that would change the banks into 100% digitalized process. Less investment. Those are another challenges that we have. Management. They need to hire more people, have the agile process, adapt. And as far as the customer service, know your customer. That whole process is very, very lengthy. Customers do not like that. Customer wants to be in and out. Not the same service across. So if you, for example, went into the Chase and you called bankruptcy, or you called your credit card somehow isn't working, there's different departments. You'll get a different kinds of services depending on how the process is within that department. We need this to be centralized so that it's the same service all across. So that's a poor customer service. The current challenges because of this that we face is a long waits on the call. We all been there, especially with the COVID situation. Doesn't matter how much digitalized that we've gone. We know that we got to be on the long lines, long waits, press this and press that. And we just wish that we can just get right to the problem and fix it. Inconvenient, breach securities, not the same service all across like I mentioned before. Conversions with the poor support. So they'll merge, but they don't have a great support. But who is being affected by that? Customers are, and they are your stakeholders. Clients' assumptions, lack of real-time help. And again, know your customer process is very, very lengthy. Again, like I said, one of the examples is in a dispute that I had worked. And while I was working, because of this COVID, the way they changed the process was really great, where, if you have some transactions that you wanted to dispute, let's say, you would be really on the phone call for the long period of time before you can speak to the agent and report your issue. They made it automatized where it will walk you through what kind of problem you have, and you can report your dispute right online, and you don't even have to speak to anybody. I think this is a great service. What are some of the stakeholders' expectations from this process? They like the faster service. They like to feel safe and secured, better support with the conversion, unified, smooth service all across the platform, provide help in real time, provide video, know your customer process, and then provide self-service using IVR and other tools, which is like a voice recognition. So this way, and I understand there's a lot of breach going on. There's a lot of fraud, especially in the banking industry. So you have to be very careful how much can you give an access to the customer. But there are ways. We have a voice recognition. Right now, they only use that to verify you before you can reach the agent. So the agent knows before you can speak to them whether this is a actual person calling by your voice, link with your credit card number, let's say, or account number. But we can use that same tool for other things to get the services done. So one of the options that we came up with is to have a partially synchronized. We understand this is a very, very expensive process, which is essentially the partial conversion of the entire company because not being able to execute across a whole company. So one of the example is a GE under Jeff Hillmet, who got the entire company moving in that direction. So if you don't have a funds and you don't have a budget, you can take a baby steps. We can do the partially synchronized. Or the second option could be fully synchronized. So when the entire company is able to do a one-time transformation of the business model, an example of that is a MapQuest. When they started it, it still exists, and that's a fully synchronized. And this is one of the best options that I think is a living DNA. When the DNA of the organization becomes one of the disrupting your own business model over and over again, you're not relying on anybody now. And best example for that is a Netflix. If you remember, we were able to rent the DVDs. They would mail us out within a less than, I believe, 10 to 15 years period. They went from mailing the DVDs to streaming the media to an original content model. And so, here's a comparison that we have between options 1, 2, and 3. Option 1 would definitely save you some cost, some time, you will definitely have a good quality. All 3 options will give you a good quality, good time, and good cost. But option 3 will give you all of it. It is a costly and lengthy process, but if you want the best, then option 3 would be the best option. That does not mean if it doesn't meet your criteria that you have to pick that. Like I said, you can always, when it's a process improvement, it's never a final. You are always continuously improving. So as long as you're improving and you're going toward a positive direction, you are on the right track. And as I mentioned during my options, here are some of the comparisons that we did with the options that we have picked. Well, General Electric with the partially synchronized, MapQuest with the fully synchronized, and Netflix with the living DNA. And here are some of the key points that we want to point out as what as is would look like, or it looks like, versus what it would look like to be. So for as is, it would be unilateral, techlessness, non-cloud-based, static, copycat, intermittent, non-analytic, and product-centric. And we want to be at a collaborative, cultural, cloud-based, mobile, innovative, continuous, data-driven, and customer-centric. And benefit of this new process would have a better customer service, compliance with the regulations and standards, completing processes more rapidly, improved efficiency. It will save us a lot of cost and more productive employees. So at the end, before we leave, having an origination process that is efficient, consistent, and transparent is the key to not only adapting to these challenges, but also gaining a competitive advantage. And this is a slogan that we came up with. So when you can bank it, why rock the boat? Thank you, everybody, for your time. Do you have any questions, comments, concern?